We did it. Woohoo!
Wow. Ton of you already got on. This is awesome. Hi, April. Hi, Nancy. Trish.
I'm eating.
Now, I'm going to watch.
The game.
Yeah, that's today.
Hi, Lola.
Hi, everyone.
Does anybody have the Darwin number at hand? Or am I going to bust a little mission here? Let's see. Let's see. One. Okay. Six, 9. 6, 8, 3, 3. 9, 6, 1. 3, 8, 3. 3, 9, 2. Okay, there you go. All right, let's see who else joined. Shannon, hi. Christina, hi. We're waiting for Jen to pop in. She said that she's kind of in a pickle. She's in Universal Studios, but she found a quiet corner. This is going to be fun. So she's going to join by phone instead of video today, okay? But she promises to be here on video for the 16th. So we're going to do the interview. We've got this. We'll still ask her as many questions as we want. She's open and she's ready. She's going to be ready for us in 5 minutes, okay? Just a heads up. Does anybody have any, if they have any specific questions, write in the chat box so you guys can say it on, I can figure out like what order to be able to say the questions. And remember, we're in week 1, so anything from the first 3 chapters is going to be meditation, mindfulness, and journaling. Anything before page 48 is going to be the focus today. If you are ahead, though, that's fine. Just let me know in advance so we don't spoil anything for anybody else. Hi, Kat.
Hi.
Who else just joined? Pamela! Haven't seen you around for a while.
I just looked down and it said that all was starting. I'm like, oh no, I missed it, but glad I didn't.
You're good. You're good. We're still waiting for Jen to pop in. She's having a slight dilemma. Her son came to Cali to hang out with her. She's at Universal Studios. Oh, I think that's her. Jen?
I'm here.
Hey.
Yes. Hey guys, how's it going?
You guys
hear me?
You guys can unmute yourselves if you want. You can totally.
Hi. Great to have you. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. So this is the beauty of technology. I'm on vacation with my family at Universal Studios, and I can still get to have it all and be here with you. I just sent my boyfriend and my son on a ride. I said, give me some time, I'll be back.
Hopefully you do better on the Harry Potter ride than I did.
Yeah, the Harry Potter ride.
We just did the Harry Potter ride.
What?
And
I'm so jealous.
Then he dragged me into Walking Dead. Yeah, Harry Potter was amazing.
Oh, the Walking Dead one is serious.
Yeah, I was freaking out in there. And it's funny because I'm teaching a how to overcome fear and anxiety workshop tomorrow, so I thought it was perfect.
Wow. How'd you do? Did you walk in like with total ohm, or were you freaking out hardcore?
No, I was totally using my tools. I was imagining that I made up a character for myself who wasn't afraid.
You did better than I did, for sure. I was freaking out. I wanted to get out of here as quick as possible.
Yes.
Okay, so just a heads up, my book club is here, Spiritual Gangsters, and Nancy's book club for Directing Your Destiny is here as well. She's part of another Jennifer Grace teacher for Creative Insight Journey. I'm sure a ton of you already know that I teach that. I have a couple questions. For the people that just came in, if you have any questions, since Jen is on the phone, you can either write, I have a question, and so I know what order to ask you guys in, or you could put your question, I could ask it for you if you would like. Okay, if you are muted or don't want to speak, that's perfectly fine. Just put it in the chat box. Nancy's group is on week 3. We are personally around week 1, close to week 2. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, just go ahead. We might have some spoilers, but they'll be good spoilers. Cool? Good stuff. All right, so I'm going to read questions while everybody else is reading their questions or figuring out what they want to ask themselves. I would love to start. Jen, if you're open, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay. So what inspired you to write the book? Did you hear me, Jen?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me? Sorry. Got it. Yeah. So can you hear me now?
Yep, we hear you.
Okay, great. So what prompted me to write Directing Your Destiny is that I had seen that movie, The Secret, and it was so frustrating to me because I understood the law of attraction. I knew that it existed, but I didn't quite know how to practically apply it to my life and have the results that I wanted to have. And so it really sent me on this journey to figure out how to work with this energy field that surrounds us all and how to start manifesting. So I went down many rabbit holes studying quantum physics and understanding how so much of it is what you are believing and thinking and feeling simultaneously, and really doing lots of different tools and practices to get myself in alignment and have that heightened awareness so that I could start manifesting extraordinary results for myself. And once I started doing that, you know, people were like, you're a freaking leprechaun. Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you manifesting this all the time? And so I was like, okay, let me really start studying now, like what I'm doing specifically. And I wrote a book about it because I think I cracked the code, and I wanted to make it easy to use, practical, step by step, instead of how I felt, you know, when I was a student of this work in the beginning, that I would read about it and watch movies about it, but it was like a slippery fish. I could get it intellectually, but I couldn't get it in my world and embody it. So it's like I just wanted to share how easy it was and how effortless it could be if you did the practices and applied the tools. So that's why I wrote it, to help.
I love it. I know you're writing a second book too, right?
Yes, I just completed my second book, and that is called Drop the Rope, The Power of Letting Shit Go. And I was able to actually drop the rope on the hour-and-a-half line at the Harry Potter ride today. Because there I was, sweating my ass off, and there was nothing I could possibly do about it, and I had to just drop the rope and let it go.
And enjoy your time with your son. Love it. All right, perfect. I can't wait to read that one. Do you have a due date for that one yet or no?
Well, it's a long process when you publish a book with a traditional publishing company like Hay House. So first you have to write the book, and then you get to write the book proposal, and then you send the book proposal in, and once it's accepted, then it's about another year and a half until it actually comes and is published and ready for the public. So I'm almost done with my book proposal. I'm very, very close, and then Hay House has right of first refusal, and if they decide to publish me again, or when they decide to publish me again, then it'll be, another year and a half from now.
Okay. So your first book, Directing Your Destiny, was a Hay House book. How did you become a Hay House author? How did that happen?
So it happened first by declaring it and bringing it into the word through my mouth of speaking it in front of 20 different people. I had declared that I would become a Hay House published author without having written one single word of the book that was living in my head for 3 years. And I think that's the most important thing is in that declaration, and not taking the past evidence and bringing it into the present. Because if I was to look at past evidence, I wasn't an author. I'd never written a book. I didn't know anybody at Hay House. It sounded very lofty of a goal, quite out of my reach, considering that I hadn't even written one single word of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But I declared it, and as soon as the declaration happened, of course, action had to follow. I had to write the book, and as soon as the book was written, then I had to get it in the hands of somebody that knew somebody at Hay House, because, I'm from New York, and that's how we roll. It's like, who do you know? Who do you know? Mm-hmm. And I had just kind of offhandedly mentioned it to my ex-husband that I finished my manuscript, and all I needed to do was get it in the hands of Wayne Dyer. And he goes, Wayne Dyer? I said, yeah. He said, Amanda is his new wife. She grew up next door to the Dyers. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. He goes, but this is the crazy part. We're actually going to be with Wayne Dyer next week. He's doing a charity event at the Soho House. Why don't you come and we'll introduce you to him?
Wow.
So within 1 week of finishing my book, I'm standing in front of Wayne Dyer, like shaking in my boots. And I'm like, oh my God, you are my mentor. I've read every single one of your books. You are the godfather of manifestation. Is there any way you would just read my book and give me some feedback? And he said, I would be delighted.
Aww.
Then he gives me his home address in Maui and says, send it to me directly, right? So that's manifesting right there, right? That's some serious grace happening.
Yeah.
So I send him the manuscript. He reads it. He sends a message back through his daughter, Serena, who's friends with Amanda. And he said, tell this girl, Jennifer, I think she's got an original contribution to the topic of manifestation. And what he meant by that was, I had searched so far and wide. Every single book I had read on law of attraction, every single movie I had seen on law of attraction, they kept on saying, you got to feel it. And I thought, well, how do I teach people to feel abundance when they're going broke? How do I teach people to feel love when they're lonely? And all of a sudden, what happened for me was this huge light bulb went off, and I realized, oh my gosh, I've been feeling my manifestation through my acting tools. I was an actress for my whole entire life. And when you're, a trained actor, you're trained to authentically feel the emotional truth that your character is portraying, right? So like, Jaslyn, when you see Meryl Streep up on that screen, don't you believe everything that woman is saying?
Oh yeah, definitely. I become
right, because she believes it. She believes in her character. She finds the truth in the character. So I was unknowingly using my actor's tools while I was manifesting, because it was just a 20-year tool bag that I had that I didn't even realize that I was doing it. And when I was writing up my book and I was having that self-awareness, I thought, wait a minute, I'm using acting tools to feel it. This is perfect. So I poured that into the book, and that's what Wayne Dyer thought was so unique and original, using, Uta Hagen's work and Stanislav's work and Meisner's work and putting that into practice to help, it's almost like looking at the universe as the audience. And every day we have to show up and put on a performance that the audience believes it. And the audience, the universe, is not going to believe it unless we believe it. So we've got to believe it and we've got to feel it. This energy field that surrounds us all, it speaks a very specific language, and that is emotion. So you can make all the, 3x5 intention cards that you want, and you can read them. I feel ecstatic that I am now a Hay House published author, and you don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only the intention, it's the feeling. So how do you get to the feeling? Acting tools. So long story short here, Wayne says, tell her that there is a contest that Hay House is giving. One person will win it, and they'll get a book deal. I think this girl's got a shot. So Serena Dyer tells me this. I find out about the contest. It's in San Diego. I fly out there, and what they do is they teach you how to write a book proposal, which is a business plan for a book. They don't want to read your book. So I write the business plan, I do the proposal, and I submit it. And now Serena Dyer's written the foreword, and it's just kick-ass, and I'm so excited, and I think I've got it in the bag. And when they announce the winner, it's not me. And I was so crushed. But I knew from all the personal development work that I do, especially from, teaching ARC Worth, CIJ, the Clarity Catalyst, that it's not great idea success. It's great idea, hit the brick wall of frustration, things don't go as planned, get allies, incubate, and then come at it again.
Yeah.
So when that disappointment came, I let go of expectation, I let go of judgment, I kept my faith in my creativity, and I showed it to lots of people, and I said, what do you think? Why didn't I get a book deal? And they said, well, your platform isn't big enough. They're looking for people to help them sell books. So I amped up the Facebook and the Twitter, and, wasn't Instagram at that time. And I got on a national television show talking about the book. And I went to another contest in New York City, literally a few months later. And I went through the process again. And on December 20th, 2011, and it was only about 11 months to the day that I had declared on the top of a mountaintop that I would be a Hay House published author, Reed Tracy from Hay House called me, and he said, Jennifer, we're so impressed with how you lost in San Diego, came back, built your platform. Not only are we going to give you the first prize, which is the book deal, we're also going to give you the second prize, which is your own radio show. Woo! And my spot was, I know, and I was on the radio in between Esther Hicks and Wayne Dyer. That was my time slot for 3 years. And it just completely transformed my life and my business. And I'm just so happy that I knew about the tools from CIJ, and I knew that hitting that brick wall of frustration was part of the process, and that I was exactly where I was supposed to be, that I had to get up and get back in action.
Well, I know through seeing some of your articles, seeing some of your blogs, seeing your website, reading your book, that you mentioned that Wayne Dyer is the godfather of manifestation, but you are called the Queen of Clarity. How did that happen? queen of clarity, girl. I want to see the crown.
The queen of clarity. Well, you know, it happened really organically.
How cool.
People just started coming to me and they were stuck. I'm stuck here. I'm stuck in love. I'm stuck with my finances. I'm stuck because I don't know what my purpose is. I'm stuck with this. I'm stuck with that. And, you know, for me, the key is clarity. Clarity is the foundation for our success because it's where all manifestation begins. If you are not clear in who you are and what you want, whether it's what you want financially, in a relationship, what you want your contribution to be, you'll be very lost. And so all of the tools that I use, you know, first and foremost is to help people get crystal clear on who they are and what they want. And from there, they, you know, can create anything. Even clarity gives confidence. You know, when you're clear, you're confident. You know who you are, you know what you want. So people are always saying, if you want, figure out your life. If you need clarity, go talk to Jennifer Grace.
All right. So from the book so far, we've read week 1, we read meditation, journaling, and mindfulness, right? The first introduction first mentions quantum physics, and you started mentioning that you really got into this topic. Well, what was, you know, you said science and spirituality meet. Can you explain that more in detail? Because that's a completely new topic for me.
Sure. You know, for thousands and thousands of years, you know, wise men and women and sages and shamans have been really talking about the fact that we are creating our reality, that we have an effect on the world around us. But we grew up, you know, with Newtonian science. You know, it's very linear. So you're born, and then you go to school, and then you get married, and then you get your job, and then you die, and everything's on this timeline. Everything's very linear, right? And we also grew up in Newtonian science saying that these are your circumstances that you're born into. This is the deck that has been dealt to you. These are the cards that you have. And then quantum physics turns around and says, no. You're not the victim of your circumstance. You're the creator of your reality, which goes back to what the shamans and wise men and women had been chanting for thousands and thousands of years. I mean, Buddha said 2,000 years ago, you know, your thoughts create your world. And it takes us this long in quantum physics, you know, with all these different exciting, you know, experiments and things that are going on in the laboratory to show that we have an effect on the world around us. You know, there's something called the DNA phantom effect, right? So what these scientists did was they took a vacuum sealed capsule, right? And they injected human DNA. Now, even though it's vacuum sealed, there's still particles, the stuff that the earth is made of is still trapped in there, right? Mm-hmm. And what happened was the stuff that the earth is made around of, phantom effect it's called, it actually lined up to the human DNA exactly and mirrored it exactly. So you saw the human DNA and the earth is made of, all these little particles came together and just totally mirrored it. So what is that really saying? What that's saying is have an effect on the world that the stuff is made of, that we are actually in this dance, in this conversation with the millions of particles of us. And they've also done other exciting experiments where, you know, they take a picture of something and there's an observer, there's humans there, and they take a picture of a table and it's solid. And then they remove the observer, and the table's in a million different particles all over the room. That's how the photograph captures it. So the fact of us even just observing something, what it's called is collapses the wave. It collapses the wave, and then we see it as solid. Quantum physicists say, you know, the chair you're sitting on is not solid. You know, there is no time-space continuum. We're living in a hologram, right? And what this does for manifestors, and why I think it's so important for student law of attraction to also study quantum physics, layman terms. You know, I can give you a list of books that are just phenomenally written and easy to understand, because when you see that the science backs up the fact that yes, you, not just you, but you and you and you and you and you and all of you literally have the power to create your reality. That science, you know, I'm a New Yorker. I need cold, hard facts. Like, I needed the science to help build my belief system that I too is that powerful. And knowledge is power. So Greg Braden, Lynn McTaggart, Living the Field, Greg Braden, Quantum Facto, Jasmine, this is when I read this book. I will give you a list of all the really good quantum layman books that are out there and films that they can watch. And even if they just pick one or two, it will help exponentially to understand this science, and therefore it will elevate their belief in the fact that it is possible to create your reality.
Perfect. That sounds awesome. And I know that you also mentioned meditation, journaling, or mindfulness, and you said that these are the tools to direct your destiny, to really get to play those roles, right? But if you were to choose one, right, because if you start doing all three, we might get overwhelmed, right? Or some people may feel like they are overwhelmed. So would you recommend one above the others to help in that process? Is there one that is slightly higher than the other ones as a habit, in your opinion, to start off
with? You know,
with?
I mean, to start off with, whichever one you resonate with. You know, like, what's calling to you? Do you want to practice mindfulness tools, which is really just being here now, doing different activities like the color walks, eating a meal, cooking a meal, you know, not allowing your mind to go off into the future or into the past, and really just being present. So if that excites you, do that. If the journaling, you know, is something that really feels juicy to you and you're excited to do that, you know, that's a clear page for all that wisdom to come forth. You know, if we're looking for clarity, we have a GPS inside of our soul, right? It's our intuition. It's our yak. You always know. And you have the answer inside of you of what your life's purpose is. The answer is inside of you how to get out of the, you know, financial conundrum you may have found yourself. The answer is inside of you of where you should live and what kind of partner you should date and where you could even find that partner. It's all in there. But the trick is that if you don't get quiet and create space for that internal compass, that internal wisdom to come forth, you will not be able to access it. So you can access that voice of wisdom that has all the answers. Your intuition is mistake-free. You can do that by being present using mindfulness. You can do that by being quiet during meditation, and you can do that through the practice of journaling. Now, if you want to accelerate the process, and I wouldn't know who wouldn't want to do that, then you might want to do all three. And that doesn't have to be time-consuming and overwhelming. You know, like I say, wake up in the morning, pen to paper, journal for 5 minutes, meditate for 10, start your day. And throughout the day, just be mindful. You know, when you're cooking a meal, just really cook that meal. When you're eating, just really eat. Just be there with the people that you're with, like as present as you possibly can.
So
make sense?
No, definitely. So you're saying do 5 minutes of journaling first, 10 minutes of meditation. In the morning, I do know it's like slight information in the book. It's called pothole writing, right? Where like Einstein, you said he created electricity by waking up in the morning and using that consciousness before that inner gremlin comes in and tries to take over, before that fear takes over. So definitely.
Yeah.
So is there another way besides waking up in the morning and doing it? Maybe someone's late, right? They're late to work and they're like, oh my God, and they don't feel like they have time. What would you say is the easiest way to create or keep a habit?
I mean, to create or keep a habit, do it at a time that, the morning doesn't work for everybody. You know, maybe it's just on a lunch hour break at work that you excuse yourself. You go into the car, you go to a park, or you close the door of the office. It could be in the evenings, but the way you set yourself up for success is to do something 21 days in a row, to create it as a habit, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. It's done. But you want to do it the same time every day, because then it becomes like brushing your teeth. And like I said, 21 days of consistency, that's how the habit is created. And, you know, for me, I think that creating a consistent practice and declaring something and following through on something as simple as 5 minutes of journaling and 10 minutes of meditation, what that does is that peppers the rest of your life. You know, how many times do we start projects and don't finish them? How many times do we don't follow through on a weight loss program or something that we want to see happen with ourselves? Having a daily practice, it really cultivates discipline and drive and willpower. And that's the key to all of our successes. And if we can't do that for ourselves, how are we going to do that for our families, for our communities, for our world? So I just like to really up-level myself, and not to say, oh, I'm meditating and journaling for clarity. Like, I'm not only meditating and journaling for clarity, but I'm also doing it so that I can become excellent in everything that I do, that I cultivate this practice where I am consistent and I follow through, which is how I was consistent on writing my book every day. You know, 90% of people that attempt to write a book never finish writing it. You were even saying reading books, right? Like 80% of people that start reading a book never finish it, right?
Definitely.
Because we lack that follow through. Mm-hmm. And so who do you want to be? Do you want to be the 80%? Like, because I don't. I want to be the top 20%, you know, the one that does follow through. When people, I told everybody I was writing a book because I didn't want to bump into somebody in Publix and them go, how's your book coming? Like, I didn't write it. Like, no, it's on the shelf, baby. Barnes and Nobles, you know. And I had a kid and a job. I had so much going on. And I said, I don't have the time to write a book. Like you guys might say, I don't have the time to meditate and journal because I've got this and this and this and this. We're never going to find the time to live the life of our dreams. We have to create it, which is why I got up every morning at 5:30 a.m. and I wrote for 1 hour every single day for 4 months before my kid got up, because it was the only create. So it really comes down to, like, who do you get to be? You know, are you going to play small or are you going to go big?
Mm-hmm.
Did I just crack the whip a little too much?
No, that was amazing. I'm like in shock right now. Bring it on. You can crack a little more, Jen. It's cool. So, so meditation and journaling is obviously huge for you. You've been doing this for 15 years. But what was it like in the beginning for you? Was meditation, did you find it easy? Was it difficult? And what things are happening that people are going through when they first meditate?
Yeah, it was really, really difficult. I had my mind. I was all over the place. I was super bored. Frustrated, and I'll never forget my meditation teacher. I came to him and I was like, this is really, really hard, you know, and I'm really bored. And I was like, really? He's like, when you pass through all of the ego is the one that says you don't have time. The ego is the one that says your thoughts aren't going to stop. The ego is, this is boring. You know, that's our blocking. But when you push past that, right, because that's just the noise that's trying to sabotage you from the truth. And when you get to the other side and you start downloading like crazy wisdom, then you get it, you know, but your ego is going to kick and scream. It doesn't want you to succeed. It wants to keep self-sabotaging. So it's becoming stronger than that, you know, because when you touch into those spaces where you do have that moment where it's quiet and you are totally tapped in to yourself, to your wisdom, the wisdom of the universe, you know, what starts happening are these just downloads of creative ideas and new revenue streams and titles for books and workshops and just it just starts flooding in. That's the portal that opens. But like, you can't go to the gym and work out once and think your body's going to be rocking, right? You got to go every freaking day. And we don't have a problem going to the gym. Like, we don't have a problem, you know, working out our bodies, but why aren't we working out our minds? I think it's even more important sometimes, or at least equally important.
Definitely. And you said,
but it was hard.
That when we start meditating, you're saying we're going to start getting these insights and these ideas for books and courses and workshops and other things. And that's where journaling can come in, correct? Journaling can come in to give
Exactly.
you down, remember. Okay, cool. So now we found
Exactly. So it's like, right. So it's like the space is created in the mind, right? And then the ideas come. You got to put those ideas somewhere. You know, you don't need them going round and round and round in your head. You want to put pen to paper. And because sometimes they're shitty ideas, and the shitty ideas, you write through them, and they become the better ideas. You ever like try to think of a name for your book or your business or your tagline? You're just coming up with all this crap, and then you land on it, and you're like, nailed it. But that's from working it out and through, you know?
So now that you've been doing this for 10 plus years, you've been meditating, journaling, mindful, you even teach it for that matter. What would you say that these practices have changed your life or even your students' lives for that matter?
Say that last part again. How would I say what?
How would you say that these practices have changed your life or even your students' lives for that matter?
Well, again, I think it just comes back to clarity. It gives you the wherewithal to really get who you are, what it is that you want to create for yourself, and it shows you, it lights the path for you. And if not, we're very confused. We're second guessing ourselves. We're kind of all over the place, lacking direction. And when you do these foundational tools, the path becomes clear. And when you have a clear path, it's very easy to take action and to follow that path. But when you're like in the fog, that's how I feel like my life was before meditation and journaling. It was very foggy. You know, I was kind of lost, I was stuck, I was unclear, I was unsure, I wasn't confident. But once you get that clarity, you know, and that vision, then comes the confidence, and then comes the tenacity, and then you're just like off and running. And so, I mean, I've trained thousands and thousands of students by now, and the results range from, you know, people starting their own amazing businesses and, you know, finding the love of their lives and starting incredible movements and, you know, becoming coaches and speakers and entrepreneurs, and just, it's endless. But when they came to me, they were just stuck. And I said, I don't have the answers, guys. You have the answers within you. And as a coach, all my job is to give you the tools to unlock the wisdom that is waiting there, waiting to be unleashed.
All right, I only have one more question left for you, Jen, but I'm going to hold on just to double check. If anybody else has any questions, I'm going to unmute you all. And anyone that has a question, this is your time to speak up. Anybody? Anybody? You have her here now. Next time is going to be on the 16th.
I was just struggling with it. So it's just being with it. So those are some of the questions. But I
can't hear you, honey. I see your lips moving. I can't hear you.
Maybe she could type it in.
Yeah, Pamela, can you type it in?
Sure.
Okay, I heard the sure. Anybody else have a question that I may be able to hear you if you'd like to type it in as well? Lola says I covered them all. Thanks, Lola. I appreciate it. I really tried. All right. Lola, I think you sent something, but it shows a square, which I'm guessing was supposed to be emoji. Moxie, Laura, Trish, Nancy, other Nancy, Christina, Kat. Anybody? Shannon, I saw you, girl. I know Pamela's typing. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds. Okay, there you go. I just said I agree entirely. What I was going to ask was about the unease of meditating, but I will be patient and continue creating. Wow, go Pamela. All right, cool. Yes, definitely Jennifer, if you like to answer the subject.
So I think because you have everybody unmuted, it's really hard for me to hear.
There, I unmuted everyone. Oh wait, no. All participants are.
You're gonna mute them again. Mute everybody for a second.
Okay, let me unmute Jen. Unmute. All right, Jen. Jen.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. What's the question?
She says, oh, wait, Moxie, I see you, girl. I'll get to you right now. Pamela says, I just said I agree entirely. What I was going to ask was about the unease of meditating, but I will be patient and continue creating. So pretty much I'm guessing she feels the unease of meditating. How can she go through that, maybe, would be the question.
You know what? I love this is coming up. Meditation is uncomfortable. And you are training to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's actually part of the training, because guess what? Life sometimes is really uncomfortable. And if you move through this practice every day, sitting there uncomfortable with your anxiety, your fear, your self-doubt, everything that comes up when you're quiet, right? Because usually we are distracting from our pain. We are watching television, we're on Twitter and Facebook and socializing and working and watching Netflix. Like, we don't stop because we don't want to get in touch with what's not working in our lives. We want to band-aid it. So when you get quiet, whatever's not working in your life is going to be right in front of your face. And that is very uneasy. And I always say, Jazz, that people that do this work, they're so courageous. You know, fearlessness is not the absence of fear. It's the presence of bravery, that you have the cojones to sit with what's not working, to be with it, to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because the only way to get to the other side where the light is to go through the dark night of the soul. You know, it's not going to happen if you keep pushing everything under the rug and saying, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, and go watch Netflix, you know, and binge out. Or have that glass of wine, or do whatever we do to band-aid and distract from our shit. You know, this work is deep, and doing personal development work takes an enormous amount of courage. So I really applaud you, Pamela, for saying that you're willing to be with this unease. And I just want you guys to know that that's part of the training.
Definitely. Thank you, Jen. That was awesome. Pamela?
Yep.
A thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up. You're good to go. Okay. Pamela says, I can see how this will make a huge difference, like not wanting to network because it's uncomfortable. If you can be with this, you can be with anything. Yeah, girl. That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. You're training, like, think about, like, you're training in, like, warriorship. You know, it's like this sacred warriorship that you train yourself in every single day to be, you know, to have the will, the drive, the tenacity, the perseverance to see something through, you know, and doing something like with you guys, if you all declare you've got probably 21 days left, right, for this book club, what does it look like that if every single one of you committed from here until the end for the next 21 days without missing a beat, that you did this practice, like 100%, no shit committed, you would get to the other side of this 21 days and you would see other breakthroughs in your life just from putting that forth, that level of excellence and that level of commitment to yourself. You know, we could do it for everybody else, but we don't do shit for ourselves.
Okay. I have an idea. I'm going to use my idea. And Trish knows what my idea is. I can already tell. Can you put yes in the chat if you want to be in a Facebook message group where I will continuously be like, hey, who's meditating today? We'll double check each other, keep each other accountable. Yes, there you go. We'll keep each other accountable together for the journey. To show the journal, some people, if you want to, you can send a picture. Or you can my journal today. I meditated today. I will commit to my meditation. Love it. My monkey mind will be there. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I knew you were going to. Okay, perfect. We're getting it. So I'll make sure to take a picture and get everybody into that. Keep writing if you haven't said it. I know Moxie says, I'm really having some amazing breakthroughs and I'm loving everything I'm learning. That's fantastic, Moxie. I love it. Lola, 100%. You're so right. And I got a private message, a private question for that matter. It asked, how did you gain the discipline, mindset, or motivation to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to write a book every single day?
Say that one more time.
How did you gain the discipline / mindset / motivation to wake up at 5:30 a.m. to write a book every single day?
So the first day I set my alarm and it went off and I pressed snooze about 11 times.
Yeah.
And then I knew that I had to outwit the self-sabotager that lives inside all of us, including me. And
Wait, Jen, come back. Jen. No. Jen, can you repeat yourself?
Yes.
All
So when I did it for the first time, I set my alarm and it went off at 5:30 a.m. and I hit snooze 11 times. And I realized that I was going to have to get a lot smarter than that I was going to have to think and outwit the self-sabotager that lives inside all of us. So the next day I created an event so that when my phone went off at 5:30 a.m., it actually said something. And the phrase that I plugged in said, Jen, do you want it or not? And I had to answer that question every single morning at 5:30 a.m. Do I want it or not? Do I want to get this message out to the masses? Do I want to help people? Do I want to be the change that I wish to see in this world? Do I want it or not? And every morning, my answer was yes. And that's what got me up.
That's awesome. All right, perfect. I'm not seeing other questions. It's your last moment, people. I'm going to ask one last question while anybody else comes up with whatever they've got, and I'm going to ask my question. So to end this interview, unless anybody intercedes here, what is that one thing that you would want all the women on this call and the ones watching the recording for that matter to know or remember?
What is the one thing that I want them to remember? Is that you have the power to have anything that you want, that you are so limitless in anything that you want to accomplish. And it's not what you're doing, guys, it's who you're being. And really doing that deep dive in, like, what are those limiting conversations? Because two people could be standing next to each other and one of them has, maybe a really hard deck that's been dealt to them and they haven't grown up with any finances and they've had a tough childhood, and the other person could have all of the riches in the world. But it doesn't matter who they are, they still could overcome anything and create anything they want. Either one of them. It doesn't matter your circumstances. You see the most amazing people do the most amazing things that come from absolutely nothing. And it comes down to this. It's because they believe it. They believe that it is so. And so I really encourage you to look at what your limiting conversations are about yourself and reprogram them and reframe them so that you really can step into the life that's waiting for you, because you can have it all.
I know in the book you say yak. You always know. That's one of my favorite is the acronyms that I've heard you say for sure. Trish says IB.
Yes.
Love it. All right, perfect. I'm good to go. Can everyone give me a thumbs up?
All right.
If you have no more questions, thumbs up, thumbs up. Nancy, give me the thumbs up. Laura, thumbs up. There you go. There you go. Lola, I see it. Okay, we're good to go. Everyone's giving it to me. Jen, you're getting
all right, guys.
On the chat box. Before I leave, though, give me 1 second to just copy yeses everywhere. All right, cool. If you haven't said your yes, please send it now before I finish copying this. And then I'll make sure to add everyone in the same group. Yeah. I see 2 more yeses, 3 more yeses. Thank you, thank you. Kat says yes. Okay, copy, paste. And we're good to go. If I miss anyone, please don't worry. Just send me a Facebook message and I'll put you in the Facebook group as well, okay? Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love
Thanks for having me, guys.
you. Were amazing. Your interview, on top of the world, girl. You're on top of the world. Love you.
Thank you. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.
Reminder, the next one with Jen is the 16th, okay? Bye, everyone.